Alright, what's going on, you guys? Yeah, really sorry it took me so long to put this video out. I really meant to have it out last week. I was actually having bad car trouble, and it's been wearing on me over the last month or so, and I knew I just had to get it fixed, and I knew the video quality wasn't going to be very good, just me sitting here thinking about it and worrying about it, but all that's taken care of, so sorry it took me longer than I meant to put all this out. It's actually kind of late on Thanksgiving night, and we've been traveling around and eating all day, and I'm exhausted. The girls are in here trying to sleep, so I want to try to keep my voice down a little bit, not be too flippy and energetic and everything, so hopefully we can get through this. Honestly, I'm pretty worn out. So yeah, we'll just jump right into it. I've got a pretty decent mix here of tape CDs, a record I've been wanting to show, and again, like previous videos, a lot of this is stuff that I've been wanting to show for a good while, just kind of getting around to it. So yeah, we'll just kind of jump into it. I've got some other things I wanted to show too, just because I've been meaning to. And it's kind of funny, like, I don't know what it is, where I've been not doing videos, honestly, but I've got so many 2019 releases that I know I'm going to never get around to talking about, at least until the end of the year list, so we've been using them as soundtracks. Nocturnus A.D, if you prefer, Paradox, really good album, really high up on the end of year list for me. It just reminded me how hard and how difficult this one's going to be to put together, but awesome release. And it just kind of bumps me out that I'm not really going to get around to talking about a lot of them, because I'm not doing no 40 or 45 or 50 freaking top albums of the year. That's not going to happen. So hopefully we get to them. So you might have seen this thing. I don't really know why I'm showing this. You might have seen this in the background of some of my videos. Like, my daughter and I, we kind of bond over toilet humor and farts and stuff like that. We just always think it's funny. I'm perpetually 12, I guess, so I still think taking a dump is hilarious. But we kept seeing these toys on TV, you know, these butthead things, and just thought they were funny, and we just kind of started collecting them. So this is the one I kind of picked up for myself. You might have seen it in the background of some of these videos, just kind of sitting here on the shelf. I just, maybe some of you wondered what it was about. I don't know. It's just stupid, you know. But it's fun for me and her. You know, you can play rock paper scissors with them and all kinds of stuff. And okay, so there's this one. There's a zombie, a robot, and a ninja, and they all kind of do their own fart styles. Like the ninja will make karate sounds and stuff like that when it farts, you know. Yeah, I don't know why I was really kind of wanting to show that, but maybe it'd be like a little mascot for me. So I know Eli beat me to showing these, and I actually picked these up back in July. I've really been meaning to show them for a while now, and they're actually such a huge part of my childhood. It's the main reason I wanted to show them to you. But I finally got them back anyway. I've had them as a kid. The complete Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark collection. A lot of these stories are kind of hokey. They're not really spooky or anything, but some of them will actually freak you the fuck out. They did me anyway as a kid. And Stephen Gamble's artwork actually is really what sets it over the edge. And it's kind of embarrassing when they put out some of these later editions. They redid all the art and made them like totally unscary whatsoever. But I'm glad I was able to get these. They're actually such a huge part of my childhood that I'm like, getting to the point where I'm getting them tattooed on me. So here's the thing from this one. And yeah, pretty obsessed with these. Haunted house. Yeah, this whole tattoo started out as it was going to be like a Castlevania type of tribute to Dracula and stuff, and then it just kind of, it's going to morph into this, I guess, man. But it's just love these stories as a kid. And actually my favorite one ever, actually freaked me the hell out as a child, was let me find it. This one, The Window. It's about a girl who lives on a hill above a cemetery, and this creature comes walking up at her one night and just walks up right up to her window and breaks in and tries to kill her or whatever. And that traumatized me as a kid, you know, because from my bedroom window I could actually see the cemetery below the house. So just sitting here looking for a pair of eyes to come walking up to the house at me. So yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of these are just funny, and I mean, most of them aren't scary at all, but I mean, it's really the art and stuff like that really kind of sets it apart. And so I mean, just a huge part of my childhood, and just kind of want to share that with you. Yeah, check them out if you haven't heard them or haven't listened to them. Haven't read them. Goddamn, I'm exhausted. Hopefully we can get through this. 5 minutes in, we haven't talked about any music. Let's end that right now. This one I've had a month or so. I think it's been out a year or so now, and I'm just kind of getting around to it. But Funeral Winds, Sinister Creed, their newest release, I believe, Dutch black metal out of. See, I'm exhausted. Dutch black metal. I really don't understand why these guys aren't more well known and more talked about. They've been around since like '91 or so, and yeah, it's just kind of one of those things, I guess. This is actually pretty much a straight up blast fest all throughout. Very much in the vein of like the Swedish style, you know, like with bands like Marduk, for example. I mean, stuff like that. It's just blasting all throughout. I'd actually kind of probably throw in like something like Catharsis as well. I don't know what it is about this particular album. It's just I don't want to say I find it boring. It's just not really keeping my attention. Every time I've tried to listen to it, I'm just kind of piddling and doing other things, and I just can't really stay with it. I've listened to it 4 or 5 times, and it's just not really clicking with me. And again, I've not heard a lot of their early stuff, so maybe it's totally different. But something about this one, I don't know why. I'm going to give it more listens, obviously, and try to really get a feel for it. But it's just, I don't know what it is right now. I don't want to say I'm not digging it. I mean, the music's really good. It's just kind of like individual songs are perfect, but coalesce it into an album, it's just kind of, what else will I want to listen to? I don't know why. But yeah, it's a cool album. I recommend you check it out. This one, a band that one of my favorites ever, and I can't really think of an album or release they put out that I didn't like. Just amazing black thrash, black death, whatever, from Brazil. It's Grave Desecrator with Dust to Lust. Their 2016 album, I believe. Yeah. And I swear I feel like I've shown this before. Maybe I haven't, but yeah, really, I mean, another killer album from them. It's actually the follow-up to Insult, which is my favorite album. But I mean, honestly, this is just as good, if not better. I mean, pretty much everything you'd expect from them. Just supremely heavy riffs, really catchy riffs. I don't know, hammering drums, really suffocating low end. That's one of my favorite parts about it. And just really a superb album. And I know people want to compare them to like Blasphemy or Sarcophago. I think Sarcophago is really just kind of the Brazilian connection, but I mean, really in terms of the black thrash, black death style that they play on here, I mean, they, in my opinion, just totally destroy the competition. This is by far the best to me, so go check this one out if you haven't heard it. Really good shit. And speaking of a band that I kind of want everything from, from a project that actually put out my favorite black metal album of all time, really. This is actually a compilation that came out after, but I mean, it's all from material from the early days of the project. This is Abyssic Hate with A Decade of Hate. Black metal from Australia, and like I said, it's a compilation kind of adding together Cleansing of an Ancient Race, Eternal Damnation, and Betrayed. And what's cool about this is if you're just kind of getting into the band, I'm going to call it a band regardless if it is just a one-man project. This is actually a really good thing to start with. It just you kind of get the early days, the mid stuff, and then the later years. And what I like about it is starting off up here, you kind of got really just a straightforward black metal style. I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary. Sounds really, really good, but I mean, it's not like anything you haven't heard. But as it goes on down to the later works, you can tell the depressive suicidal stuff's really starting to creep in, and it just really blows your ass off by the time it gets there. And like I was saying, I can't even find it. There it is. They put out Suicidal Emotions, easily my favorite black metal album of all time, and that's bar none. That's just how I feel about it. But I mean, when you get to the end of this, you're just ready to put this on, and it's just kick-ass stuff. And I know Shane Rout, who does everything for this band, actually played in Destroyer 666 for a while. Was actually in the early days with Bloodduster. So I mean, what's to talk about that? Awesome stuff. If you haven't heard it. Oh man, 10 minutes in. God damn, I still got so much to go. This is one I just kind of wanted to show. Everyone's familiar with this band, but to me, they still feel like a little overlooked. You know, when you're talking about the Florida death metal scene, it's everyone wants to talk Deicide or Death or Morbid Angel or, you know, Obituary, stuff like that. And maybe it's just where those were earlier bands and they came along a little later. I really don't know why they're just so overlooked. I mean, like I said, it's a band everyone knows, but Monstrosity-Millenium, their 96th album. I think it's their second full-length overall. And again, I mean, I don't know why it kind of comes off that way, that to me, they're overlooked. I mean, I'm not saying they're not known. You kind of get what I'm talking about. Yeah, just superb tech death. Honestly, without being really tech death, honestly, that's kind of way I get from it. Just amazing musicianship, fantastic riffs, fantastic leads. To me, this is one of Scott Burns' best produced albums. I think it sounds absolutely fantastic, especially on Lee's drums. Man, they just really come across just really sharp and really clear, and just really cuts through the mix very well. And I believe this is the last album that Corpse Grinder recorded with him, and it might be the one that they were recording this at the same time Cannibal was recording Vile, so he was kind of pulling double duty while this was going on. I'm pretty sure it was this one. I guess it was. He was kind of moving into Cannibal at the time, so yeah, not much to really say about it. It's just an absolutely kick-ass album, and I don't know why. It's just kind of one of those bands that I'm just kind of getting around to start picking up Monstrosity stuff. Why? I don't know. I've been listening to it for years. It's like, I guess we'll start getting some. Oh, I'm struggling. We're going to get through this, though. So I picked up the new Angel Witch. Angel of Light just came out back in earlier this month, I think. If you don't know, just straight up English heavy metal, part of the original new wave of British heavy metal scene. And oddly, only their 5th album ever. It's kind of weird. And I guess it's coming from, like, they've had so many lineup changes over the years. They've been on again and off again, honestly, for about 40 years or more at this point. But, I mean, and Angel Witch self-titled album from 1980s, honestly, another one of my favorite albums of all time. And this is, I don't want to say it's up there with that, but, I mean, it definitely sounds like Angel Witch. There's no mistaking that. But, I mean, it's really actually pretty memorable. I mean, I've had Don't Turn Your Back stuck in my head all month. I mean, I'll just be kind of at work thinking about music, and that'll pop up into my head, and it'll get stuck in there all day long. So, yeah, honestly, it's a really, really good album. I've heard a lot of people say that it's kind of a grower, but for me, I mean, it just clicked immediately. But I would highly recommend you go check this out if you haven't already. Alright, moving into a pretty new death metal band, and I'm really, another band I've really got to go back and get everything they've put out. Mostly splits and EPs and demos and stuff like that, but I've got a few things. This is Ectoplasma with Cavern of Foul Beings, Greek death metal actually. This is their second full length, and it's pretty much death the old way, old school death. I mean, it's pretty much straightforward. Very similar to stuff like Pestilence or Dismember, Cancer, stuff along those lines. There's the shell. But I mean, that's pretty much the best way I can explain it. It's just worshiping old school death metal, and it's really performed at a very high level. Comes out on, I think they've several different labels that putting their stuff out. This is the Roots Active version, as far as I'm aware. And it's got some bonus stuff on there. You got an Unleashed cover, and something else I thought was on here. Maybe it was on the other one. I mean, but whatever. It's like, if you like old school death metal, this is definitely right up your alley. So there's that one. I actually got their EP from last year. Actually, both of these came out last year. And they've got a new one out that I just finally got in, and I'm going to have to show that one here soon. Yeah, here's the EP. What's the name of this thing? Yeah, Cryogenically Revived. This one is the one that has the bonus stuff. You've got rehearsal tracks, re-recorded material, and I believe there's a Vader cover on here somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly, it's, again, just really good, really heavy, really. I'm sorry, just really old school death metal. Played at a really, really high level, really kick-ass shit. And I will get around to showing the new one. I think I've got it over here at the stereo, so I won't be able to show that right now. So I don't know how you guys feel about this band. For me, it's just music. That's all it is to me, and that's all it ever will be for me. But I've got let's see, I think this is the newest one. Yeah, the newest one from Crucifier. Thy Sulfur Thrown on High, Black Death from Pennsylvania, I believe. This is their second full length, and again, another band that's been around for a decent little while and only putting out their second album. Reminiscent of stuff like Father Befouled or Acheron, stuff like that. If you haven't heard this, I know most of you probably checked this out at some point. Yeah, just lots of really straightforward blasting. And what I like about it, you've also got the melodic and ambient parts in here. I mean, it's just really sick, old school riffs. Yeah, really just amazing shit. And I know Kaz was in Grand Belial Ski for a good while. So this is kind of like his on-again, off-again project. I'm pretty sure he was working on this the whole time. So he kind of do that for a while and then kind of come back on here. But I mean, you can hear definitely some stuff he did on Grand Belial Ski in here as well. Just kind of, I guess, kind of trickling in between one or the other. So there's that. God, this video. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just really, really sorry. Might should have waited another day. It's whatever. So I've got the debut full length from Vargrav-Netherstorm. Finished black metal, if you don't know. It's, again, the debut full length. Reminiscent of stuff like Emperor, just like the really big symphonic sound. I've actually got an Emperor cover on here. No, it's not on this. It's only on the vinyl. The Ancient Queen. So, and I absolutely love this shell. Love this color purple. This is my favorite color when it comes to like vinyl and tape shells. Love to get this on most stuff, but I mean, it's whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty. I know a lot of people really, really dug this album, and I think it's alright. It's not too bad. But the newest one, I think, blows it out of the water. Reign in Supreme Darkness just came out, I don't remember when, sometime this year. Direct follow-up, honestly, I don't think there's any other EPs or stuff that he's got out. I like this one a little bit better, honestly. It's got a bit more punch, slightly more varied, I think. It just has a little bit more powerful feel. Don't want to say it's like super unique or anything, but it just tries to be its own thing. Yeah, it's pretty much that. I know VKOS had some session members on this one as well, so maybe that's why it sounds a little bit different. Because I know he did absolutely everything when it came to this album. So there's that. Love this cover art, by the way. Alright. So this next section is been really, really wanting to. I've spent a good bulk of this year trying to get, go through and kind of fill some holes where I've got like some classic albums I'm missing. And this is the band that I'm really, really, really like straightforward focus on getting everything from. And money kind of dictates where I go with that, but this is the one that's really kind of been taking up most of my attention. So we're gonna look at my Razor collection. So the first one I've got is Evil Invaders. Their second full length, actually. I don't have the first one yet, anyway. Canadian thrash, if you're somehow unaware. And honestly, probably my second favorite album, at least of everything I have. The low end sounds really, really good on this. It's not as hyper as they would get later on, but I mean, this is a really, really focused, really tight album, and just an amazing band. And Stace sounds absolutely amazing with his vocals on this one, but yeah, talk about a band who has like really, really bad cover art, and everything you're going to see here pretty much is pretty iffy. So there's Evil Invaders, and I'm pretty sure I've shown Violent Restitution. This is by far my favorite when it comes to this band. This is like, for me, pinnacle Razor. I mean, everything is just wild and out of control and hyper and through the fucking roof, and just the vocals are perfect, guitars are perfect, drums are perfect, everything, and the speed is just absolutely fantastic. So complete and utter savagery, honestly, when it comes to the thrash on perfection on this album. And to me, Stace's best vocal performance. So I'm pretty sure I've shown that. I don't want to talk too much about it, but and after that we have Shotgun Justice. And this is the first album without Stace on here. I know he had been, according to the band, he was like trying to steer him in a different direction, make him a little bit more popular. But the rest of the guys were like, no, we kind of want to do our thing. But so Bob Reed's doing vocals on this one. And honestly, I mean, he does an amazing job. I mean, you really don't miss Stace when you start hearing his stuff. He's kind of like a really, really good fit for this band. And it really just makes the album sound a little bit more serious and a little bit more aggressive, really. And again, another fantastic album. And yeah, these are actually the Relapse reissues on the slipcase. I know Violent Restitution's the same way, as is the next one, the actual follow-up to Shotgun, Open Hostility. And again, another really, really good album from the programmed drums are kind of hit and miss for me, but it's honestly not that big a deal. Actually, I mean, they sound a little flat, but I mean, it's not terrible. And I know, I think Rob Mills was just doing drums live for him at this point. I don't know why they didn't have him in the studio. I guess it was just kind of like, you know, we just kind of want to, I don't remember what the story was, and I just kind of watched the retrospective on it a while back, but he wasn't playing for him anymore. But this is certainly a little heavier of an album. There's definitely more gain on the guitars, and it's really not a very bad album at all. It's just not quite as good as Violent Restitution or, say, Shotgun Justice, but it's a really, really good album, I think. So that's the last of the Relapse slipcases I've got. And last one I got is Decibels. Now, I've been meaning to show this for a while. I actually picked this up at a local store, and it's like, I don't know, man. I've heard a lot of people say they really, really like this album, but for me personally, I didn't like it at all. And again, probably not fair that I compare it to early Razor. I mean, I think every album deserves a fair shake and just kind of listen to it for what it is, but I don't know, man. I'm so used to just the super hyper fast pace of what this band puts out. This just really doesn't have it. This one actually came out in '97, I believe. This is their last full-length they ever put out. And I mean, I don't know, man. It's just like all the hyperness is just gone out of it. It's just really, it almost sounds like a straightforward hardcore album, which is fine. But I mean, if you're expecting Razor to be just super electric fast, you know, the hyper riffs, not to use the same adjectives over and over again, it's kind of a letdown. So I mean that's just how I feel about it. I'm trying to kind of let it boil over a little bit and just kind of appreciate it for what it is. But as of right now, I just really, really do not like this album. So maybe it'll change for me one day, but it is what it is. So that's actually the whole Razor collection as of right now, and there's hopefully definitely going to be more when it comes to that band. So the last one I got to show is one I've had. Again, I think I picked this up in July. I actually had the guy order it for me. So they're starting to re-release these. I don't know why. You guys can just shoot me all you want. I understand. I completely understand. It's just kind of like, how do you not have these albums? And I don't. This is the only one I actually own. But it was a long time coming, and I'm glad to finally have it. But we've got King Diamond-Abigail. My personal favorite King Diamond record. I guess this was the first one I ever heard. And yeah, just I can't tell you how stoked I am to have this in my possession right now. It's like when I ordered it from my local record store, he called me and I went to go pick it up, and it was still like, wow, it's actually here. You know, I just a lot of these, it's just, I don't know why they're hard to find. At least where I've looked for them. I mean, I don't really seem to come across them very much. So this one's just one I've been looking for a while. And I absolutely love King Diamond. I don't know why. Well, I know I don't have more. It's just I'm having a hard time finding it. But it's why I didn't have them earlier in my life is just kind of ridiculous. So just got the inner sheet with the lyrics, and there's nothing else on here at all. I think the record just comes on black vinyl. There's really nothing else to this. Yep, that's all there is. I want to say this is I know it's a Roadrunner reissue, but I don't remember when it came out, this particular version, but it's fine, man. This thing absolutely looks breathtaking. Perfect art. Cheesy photos, you can't go wrong there. And I can remember to this day the first time I ever heard Abigail, the title track, and I was like, yes, where do I get this stuff? So another one of those bands that I'm just trying to get around to getting everything from them, so I'll get them eventually. There's that. So, sorry, it's kind of a clusterfuck video. I've got a few more videos like this I want to do, just a few tapes and CDs and just some records to show. And I've got a couple, actually, that I've been wanting to talk about. I've got one coming in that's really, really special to me. And Anyway, I'm going to jump off this. I know this has been crazy. I probably need to go to bed, but thank you guys so much for watching. Check out these links below. I got my Facebook and Instagram stuff down below. You want to follow the Facebook page. I'm trying to keep that updated and give you information when I'm putting videos and stuff out. So I want to get off there. I want to get off here and go to bed. Thank you guys so much for watching.